Well, hello kids, welcome to Glen's Drum Emporium. We are actually out in my garage shop today working on drums, working on some bikes, a few other things. Start things off quick with a bass drum tom holder thing. I was given a bunch of drums from a few different people. Just because I fixed them up, giving them away to kids. I'm also working on one of my own kits, so it's like 3 or 4 kits. I took a break from it, but I'm trying to make some room in my garage, so some of the leftovers, I'm trying to get them out of here and give me some space. So I was given this DP series drums, or bass drum, not a full kit, bass drum by Yamaha. So, what's the matter with this picture? Let's hold it this way. Can you see what's wrong with that? Yeah, this is catastrophic failure. Broke right up. This is where the wing nuts go, normally to go on the shafts that hold your toms. And they're blown in the straight up position. Totally pulled away. And why is that? Very similar to the lug video I showed a couple of weeks ago, where you have these same style of lug, but the company that designed them makes the best ones, and then how they've degraded through all these cheaper drum lines, but still use the same design. But when you go in behind, which you don't see as a customer, is how bad the support design is and why some of these lugs fail. Well, this Yamaha one, you can see, has ribs for support in here. Hopefully you can see that. You can see the ribs up in here. There are none. There's none here. And this is the side you should have them on, because this is where you're tightening the wing nut to hold the shafts for the toms. But nope, no support. They blew right off, just broke right off. So bad design. I'm not going to say bad material, although I'm surprised the chroming is starting to pit so bad on this. But so this is totally useless. I kept the screws and the wing nuts and the bottom plate, but pretty much junk. On that same bass drum, I want to take all the lugs off. None, except for I think one or two of the screws, all of them broke. There's no rust. So on the one lug that managed to come out normal, they were still tight to get off, but I noticed that the holes were not tapped in far enough to support the length of the screw they were using. Is that Yamaha? I don't know. I never bought this drum set new, but when I started tapping, I drilled out the old broken screws. These are a few that are left. I drilled them out and retapped them. I found that when I drilled, the remaining screw was embedded in the lug itself. So the screws were too long for what was actually drilled and tapered originally. I can only assume those were the factory ones, but so what I did is there was room to tap further, so I drilled further in that, and the ones I tapped worked fine. It's almost like the machine just did not tap far enough. So what happens when the person was putting these together, the screws bottomed out and mushroomed the threads into each other, crushing the threads. So when you go to undo them, like you can try WD-40 or heat. It's hard to do heat on the drum because you set the drum on fire, but what I'm saying is, it didn't matter if you use that or not, the threads were damaged at the end. They weren't coming out. And the reason why is because threads were squashed together. They couldn't ride the tap thread of the shaft, which was good thread, because they bottomed out and bent all the ends of the screw. So no matter what, they weren't coming out. So you either had to cut the ends off or snap them and retap them. So that's Yamaha. And I played Yamaha pretty much since 1987. I have quite a few Yamaha kits, but I have a power recording series kit that I've had since '87. Fantastic drums. This one I was kind of shocked to see with Yamaha. They do have the reinforcing in here, which if you remember the lug video I showed you a few weeks ago, that's one of the places where a lot of these companies will skimp. You got to have support. So whereas most companies just put a solid mass around the pegs, you can see where they skimp now, but they still at least have some kind of support. The spider web kind of supports, and they have one here as well. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get the light right. So yeah, so that was, I've had Pearl drums with a lot of faulty stuff. I had a boom stand, an older boom stand, heavy duty stand, and boom arm. The boom arm broke, and in the video I showed you how porous the metal was. It was like there was air bubbles in it. So it was chromed over, soft metal, and it was full of bubbles, so it was going to break. It was definitely a weak point. So that's a scoop on the drums. As for the bikes that I'm working on, two issues. One, the handlebar stem is stuck. I've tried every chemical. I gotta try and save the paint and the badge decal, but it's not looking good. I can't use heat, so because I'll end up wrecking the paint and wrecking the badge logo. And if I cut the stem, I'm cutting a vintage stem from the 70s, so I'm in a dilemma. I've tried everything, and I've bent the forks a little bit trying to loosen this up, but it will not move. So heat is what I need to use, and I might have to see if I can find replacement decals to save this bike. Another one is one that I'm customizing, a rat rod, which is again early 1971 Mustang, CCM Mustang bicycle. I have a bunch of these, and I turn them into rat rod choppers, and some I keep, some I sell. So this one, the seat post stem is in there, and the problem with this one is the seat post stem is like this long, and there are factory Mustang stickers on this bike, and I don't want to wreck those. I do know a company that makes them to replace them, but right now they have that patina that matches this bike because it's not mint. I want the rat rod rough look. Unfortunately, the shaft, it has to be, I've got tons of rust killers dumped in this thing, and it's still not budging, even with pipe wrenches. Like, the seat post stem has to go anyways. It's not going to be saved. That's fact. But I got to be able to not damage the frame, and I was hoping not to damage the decals, but again, I'm faced with, I need to use heat to expand this to at least get some movement out of it. But with the shaft being that long and this frame being out in the elements, the rust that's a lot of rust. So not sure we can salvage it. There are ways to get in there to slice it from the inside out, but you risk so it's using a hacksaw blade, but you risk damaging the bike tubes themselves. So I don't know. We'll keep you posted on that mess. Yeah, I've had three days of hell, nothing going right. What should be easy fix-ups are not going as planned. So, and the Fibes drum set is waiting. We are waiting for the 13-inch tom to come in. It should be in this week from El Paso, Texas. I'm hoping. I am still looking for a couple of little things. I also got my eye on a Fibes snare in the same finish. I do have a Fibes snare, but it's not in the same finish. So I'm looking at one, and that might take a bit of the pocketbook. The only thing, it's a 5-inch snare. I was looking for a 6 or 6.5 for this kit, because this kit's got 24-inch kick, and I want a 13-inch tom coming, and it's got two 16 floors. I'm looking for either a 14-inch floor. I know where there's a 14-inch tom, but yeah, I'm just kind of making a bigger rock and roll kit out of it. But I'd like to have the deeper snare. But I found the 5-inch one. Price is good. Still expensive because it comes from the States from where I am, so duty's a bit much. But you don't see many of these for sale anymore, so everybody's hanging on to them. That's Scoop. Thanks for watching.